Hello, everybody. I know we have been away for a while. We said we were going to get with y'all to do the kid who would be king and so on and so forth. And hey, we're nearly 2 weeks behind. To quickly explain about all of that, the reason why we have not had any reviews, it's not because we didn't want to go see The Kid Who Would Be King. We were actually kind of interested. It didn't look like it was going to be the greatest film in the world, but it looked to be a serviceable film. I can't even talk. Think like Monster Trucks. Best way we were kind of thinking it looked. Sorry, I see hairs on Megan. So, we were gonna try and go see it, and showtimes were like
Really
fucking
shitty.
terrible. Yeah, like there was nothing that would have made any sense for us to be able to go see. It's like, well, we can't do that because we're doing something this time. Well, we can't do that time because this doesn't work, and there was no late showtimes. Then last week, the only thing that really came out was Miss Bala, and I will just watch the original at that point because it's just almost from how many people have described it. It's just an English version of the original film, which only came out 6 or 8 years ago or 7 years ago. And sorry, but it's like, why are we making movies that aren't even 10 years old? I mean, same could be said of the upside, but not gonna get into all that. So here we are. We're finally back with one of the movies we were definitely going to give a review of, and it is a sequel, of course. Well, I guess maybe a fourth film in a series in a way.
In a franchise.
Yeah. And that, of course, is The Lego Movie 2, the second part. I love that title. I don't know why. It's just so on the nose and dumb. Now, I am going to let the Megan give her opinions on it. Because she didn't get to have an opinion on Broly because she's not a Dragon Ball fan. Or did she watch the movie? You know, she should. It's an awesome movie. Still go see Broly.
Such a goober.
So, what did you think about the second part of the second movie that you watched? Yeah, just to let you know, weirdly enough, this one fell asleep during parts of it.
I dozed off like just a couple
Five
times.
dozen times.
Just a couple of times. No, just a couple of times. Mostly in the middle. I didn't miss much.
You missed a lot, because there's things I'm like, oh no, that actually is not that. It's just... And you missed some of the best jokes, I believe. But please, how did you feel about this movie?
It was alright. It was good, just not as good as the first one.
To be fair, none of the other two technically, other two Lego movies have measured up, I believe. Even though I think Lego Batman probably came the closest.
Yeah.
But to me, that was also a really good, like, Batman film in a lot of ways, even though it wasn't really Batman. I think just because of all the lore it had with it, and it's like, wow, you took up some obscure shit. Mm-hmm. But hey, that's my opinion on that. Yes, seriously. In comparison to this and the other films.
Yeah, it wasn't as good as the first one, but as you kind of pointed out, like, it's kind of hard to top the first one, apparently.
Well, the first one, I think it was because it was so unique.
Yeah.
You had not seen anything like it at the time.
Yeah, so it went ahead and set the bar pretty high.
Yeah, it's... Because at least, like, if you're going to compare, like, the first, like, big major movies, like, what was your first, like, real, like, adults comic book movie? Dark Knight. Even though Batman Begins is good, its camera work's still really shitty, even compared to nowadays. I mean, think about it. It's like, that had so many years of development behind it. Like, had the Tim Burton films, which are really, really damn good. I still like Batman Returns. I don't care if everybody hates it. I love Batman Returns. I can't help it. Then you had all this other stuff. You had other lead-ups to make a really great comic book movie, which is from, like, DC. Just infuriates me that they can't always make good comic book movies. So that's the point. Then you also have, of course, like the Justice League movies that have been getting really good, or Spider-Man and Spider-Verse. They've had a lot of stuff to build on. The first Lego movie had nothing to go on. So I think we went to that with so little expectations. It was kind of hard to try and. It's like, all right, there's no way this could be just terrible unless it's just like Emoji Movie. Which, to be fair, that was a movie we also went in with no expectations. It still somehow underperformed. I don't know how you accomplish this.
Mm-hmm.
But I think because it was just such a fantastic movie, it's really hard to capture that magic again. Though I will say this much, at least it just followed right up on the first movie.
Yeah. I mean, it takes place a few years after the first one.
5 years, big sack.
Yeah. And everything's like darker and very apocalyptic.
Call it Apocalypse.
Yeah, because the kid from the first film was like playing with all the characters. He's now a teenager or just about to be a teenager. Mm-hmm. So he's
becoming an edgelord.
I would say he's becoming a bit darker.
Mm-hmm.
A bit more cynical.
An edgelord. He's becoming Shadow the Hedgehog.
And then there's always the little cutesy stuff that's the influence of his little sister.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's lots of little interesting things about, like how they are showing transitioning of a kid to adult, or pretty much less of a kid and more into a teenager. And if I can talk about one thing I kind of had an issue with, it does actually talk about Lego Batman movie, which was actually pretty good. I was like, oh, cool. It actually, though it's like an offhand remark at best. I feel like they want this to be, all this like Lego world, but there's no interconnectivity between this. Well, this is the first one. The only two movies that really are connected. Lego Batman feels almost separate beyond that minor mention. Like, nothing of Lego Batman is brought up beyond just like, oh, I was doing my own solo thing, And it's funny. It's a funny joke, but it's like, it's so bereft of anything else. It's like, all right, so what about the stuff with Joker or, all the other villains that came in at the end of Lego Batman? And not only that, but Lego Ninjago is completely ignored. Like, it is not even spoken of. And it's like, alright, Lego Ninjago was not a fantastic Lego movie. And I will fully admit that, like, it's probably a much better film for those who have watched the Lego Ninjago show that was on. Because one of my exes, her youngest kid, he actually watched Lego Ninjago. I was like, okay, now this makes a whole lot more sense when I watch this movie. But why don't we mention Lego Ninjago? It's not the most fantastic film ever, but it was fun for what it was. It was a fun little side trip. It's like there's no mentions. There's nobody even from there. And yeah, they weren't in the first Lego movie, but expand the universe. I don't know. I think that was one thing that kept bothering me throughout the movie. It's like there was expansions of the universe. Warren might spoil this a teensy bit here and there. Like there's more talking about the Duplos and stuff like that. And obviously there is, like if you've seen like the one person who comes in you see in the trailer, that comes to kidnap everybody and Emmett has to go chase after him to rescue him. That particular character is obviously, like, the model for it is not a Lego character. It's something else. I can't remember what it is. Almost might be Duplo. Who knows? Or it's like off-brand kind of Legos. Best way I describe it. And that's fine. It just comes a fuck out of nowhere. And considering how the universe is set up, those who have not seen the original Lego movie, why in the hell are you watching this review? So thank you for at least giving me some views. But more importantly, it's like, because we already learned that this is all being played out in a kid's head, there's constantly talk of that. Like, that is the driving force of the entire film, for lack of a better way to describe it. Like, pretty much this is all dealing with the sister and the brother. We learn the brother's name is Name, and the sister's name is Bianca. I think they probably said the son's name in the first movie, and I do not remember it.
I don't know how long it's been.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen Lego Movie 2. Lego Movie as well. Let me say that. It's actually only been like a few hours since we've seen Lego Movie 2, second part. But because of the fact that they're constantly having to deal with that, like the fact that, oh, these are still toys, you know, and that there's a really, 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 really weird part at the end of the movie that doesn't make any sense still in my brain. When they all start singing and the brother hears it. It's one of the parts where it's like, eh. And I get in the first one that they kind of have Emmett, he's able to walk around, or he's able to move a little bit while he's in the real world, even though they're...
While he's like within the kid's imagination area.
Yeah, it's...
Something... It's not...
It's never explained really well, and that's a...
I don't think they ever lay down any ground rules.
Yeah, and not only that, but there's just certain little parts throughout this that, because of the fact that it constantly, not constantly, but fairly frequently, it will shift from, you know, watching, you know, Emmett doing stuff and Legos doing stuff and all this and that, or the Master Builders, to then all of a sudden, hey, here is this happening. And it's the real world stuff. And there is some funny kind of stuff. Instead of Will Ferrell being his voices in it.
Yeah.
He says about 5 lines, I think.
Kids, listen to your mother.
Yeah, and also, where's my pants?
Yeah.
Nice callback to the first one, I guess. And then there is also Maya Rudolph, who actually has a really funny line about stepping on Legos. That you almost feel like it should have been in a rated R film, because it's like, there's a lot of cursing that should have probably happened.
Yeah, 1, it's Maya Rudolph, and 2, she steps on, like, not just 1 Lego, but 2 Legos. It's like, ooh.
Oh, childbirth, stepping on Lego.
It's like, right up there with childbirth.
I was like, that's a funny line. But I think because of that constant shift, and really it's the only pervasive, like, plot, anything that's moving the plot forward, because of that, it's hard to always invest yourself in the Lego characters, which is weird to say. And I think that's the big failing of the movie. And I think that's constantly what was causing me issues throughout this film. Mind you, the jokes, when they are hitting constantly, they're funny as hell. Like, there's a lot of laugh out loud moments. There is some goofy stuff in here. There is some genuinely smart humor. There is some of those jokes that are a little bit more nod and wink towards the adults. That is not as like, hi, get it, adults? Oh, wink. But it's still a little think at you here and there. It's not quite jabbing you in the ribs with its elbow, but it's giving you a little think with it and winking at you, and it's enough to make you giggle. And sure, there's enough stuff, I think, here to keep kids entertained. And we kind of talked about this already, and I know I'm shaking my head, and again, it's a negative. Alright, Lego, I get it. You want to have a message. You had a message in the Lego Movie. You had a message in Lego Batman. You had a message in Lego Ninjago. And guess what? This has got a freaking message again.
Actually, technically, it's got 2 messages. I think the first message is, like, don't be in such a hurry to grow up. And then the other message is, get along with your sibling.
Yeah, try to get along with the people that you live with.
Otherwise, it's our mama again.
Yeah. Though I do like that even Wildstyle calls that out at one point when she's like, oh, it's like our mama. Are you serious?
It's like, oh, our mama again. Our mama. It's like,
and she's like, well, that's dumb. It's actually funny. I know, it's like, alright, the movie is riffing on itself. And that's another thing, the movie does do some good riffs here and there on itself. But I think because of the fact that there is this message, like the one that I would have preferred was the don't let yourself grow up too quickly. Like that message, I think, is very much in line with kids and very much with adults. The whole sibling thing, not so much. Yeah, because here's the thing: as adults, we're more willing to kill our siblings, and they are more than willing sometimes to deserve it. No, no. In all reality, at that point, whenever you get to be an adult, you've already probably figured out how to deal or put up with your sibling in some way or another, and it's almost a naive approach to it. Like there is a lot of not thought put into it. It's like they wrote it down with that would be a great method. It's like, guys, put a little thought into your message here. Come on. And like I said, the whole not growing up too quickly would be so much better. You know, allowing yourself to still be happy, be able to be a kid and have fun. That, like I said, it resonates to adults. It can resonate to children just as well.
Yeah, I mean, even as an adult, it's still important, I think, to try and capture the creativity and imagination of childhood.
Yeah. And like I said, that the message like don't grow up too fast. It feels like that was
Oh
more
yeah, don't be in such a hurry to.
yeah, it felt like it was a much lower terms of talking about message. Like at best it was kind of dealt with, but the overarching message and what the whole plot's revolving around: be nice with your siblings.
Yeah, our mom will come take your toys away.
Yeah, and it's like, more or less like, oh, your mom will take your toys away at the end. Just be nice with your siblings. Be nice with each other.
Well, that's what our mom again was all about.
I know. I'm just saying, it's like the actual message, the happy message at the end. Be nice with your siblings. Not talking about the actual plot, just the message itself. Get what I'm saying?
No, 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 like the plot with the toys.
I'm just saying.
I know you're going with the message from the real world.
No, I'm saying just the message. Because even the Lego Ninjago had no real world stuff. Hell, Lego Batman didn't. They had a message. I'm just... The big thing I want is them to stop putting messages. Let a movie just be a movie. And I think because of the fact that they had that overarching message, that get along with your siblings, and I mean, just being hammered into your head, it began to drag the movie down, I think. There was a lot of points where I'm like,
That's why I dozed off a little bit.
You dozed off because you sleep through everything. You can sleep through a truck driving through a nitroglycerin plant.
Haven't yet had cause to test that.
You're making
If I can get it out without tripping all over my tongue.
Yeah, it is, long and spindly. Oh, but yeah, I don't think, like I said, it's not that it's boring. There's some good parts, there's some decent action. I would like a little bit more building kind of stuff that's happening throughout it. It feels like there's a lot of build up to a final plot and there's not a good payoff because the message is so bland. The main message, because the other one they deal with like more than, there's still about like 20 minutes left in the movie. Oh, don't grow up too quick. It's like that's dealt with fairly fast. But it's not that I hated it. I know my tone and my body language is always the best here. It's just, it felt so weak compared to, especially the first movie. It's like the first movie's message was much more powerful. And like I said, it actually kind of brought a tear to my eye. And that is, it's along the same lines. Don't grow up too quickly. But in the same instance, it's like, let yourself be able to have fun. And don't hurt your kids' attempt to have fun just because, you want to, don't touch my toys. And like I said, it also didn't help that Batman's message was my least favorite part of that entire film. I thought the rest of it was really good. And Lego Ninjago's you could see in the freaking trailers. The issues like, oh, wait, am I a real boy? Because my dad's this guy. I just want to be accepted by dad. Like I said, Warner Brothers, I bless your hearts. Just stop putting messages. Just stop. Just let a movie be. Because if this movie did not have that overarching message of, oh, be good with your siblings, I think the movie would have been a lot more interesting. I think it would have, one, not felt a little ham-fisted, which is a big problem. It does feel at times. You're like, hey, you get my message? It's not quite Ferngully levels of beating you over the head. But, you know, Ferngully's a piece of shit, so we expect. There's nothing good about Ferngully.
Yes, there is.
Not one thing.
3 things.
3 things out of an hour and a half long movie. Actually, I think it's an hour and 40 minutes.
1, it's pretty.
No, it looks like ass.
2, Ron Williams and Tim Curry.
Robin Williams is high off his fucking mind the entire movie. Tim Curry is sloshed to shit, you can tell.
And 3, got some good songs.
It has 0 good songs. Every song in that movie sucks. But, oh, speaking of which, this movie also has songs in it, and it's actually kind of funny. Like, all the songs are played up for laughs, of course.
And this song won't get stuck in your head.
Yeah, literally, this song will get stuck in your head. There is an in-credit song that is literally them singing about the credits. And it's hilarious.
It's like, oh, these awesome credits. And
yeah, look, these awesome credits. Watch it, editor, they're really important. It's like just so much dumb shit.
Yeah.
But, like I said, I think what just kept hurting me and kind of taking me out of the movie was just that ham-fisted message. And I know people are like, oh, you shouldn't let it, they're probably like, oh, you shouldn't let it ruin your experience. But that's just the thing. It's like, every bit with the kids, I just didn't care.
Yeah, you kind of see it coming a mile away. And just, it really drags it down.
Yeah. If it would have just been the Legos without any of the kids, that would have been fine to me. Like, talking...
Or if it had just been about, you know, the kid, you know, kind of becoming a teenager and becoming darker. And it's like, well, don't be in a hurry to grow up. It's like, if it had been just about his journey.
Yeah, especially if it had still involved the sister. You could have still had her, and maybe she made something that was actually really cool. You know, and he was like... And he realized, like, oh, you can still be a kid and still be kind of, you know, without having to be dark and edgy and all this.
Yeah, we kind of remind him of the childhood he's starting to leave behind. It's like, well, you know, just because you're growing up doesn't mean you have to leave it behind.
Yeah, that would have made for so much more powerful of a message. I think it would have made for a much less messy story. 'Cause, not to pick on this movie, but it's like, one, the story takes a bit to start. Like, this movie, like, you're sitting the first 15 minutes like, okay, this is funny. Is the plot gonna move? Like, my whole issue with Secret Life of Pets, like, beyond the fact it wasn't really funny, like, it takes about 45 minutes for the movie to finally fucking start. You're like, God, move, movie! Move, bitch, get out the way.
That's the movie that you were in. You feel like a pedophile. 'Cause you're by
Yeah,
yourself.
I was by myself next to a nerd, dude. I'm like, you know, it was by himself, and I'm like,
Pedophile section.
yeah, it's like, pedophile section over here, pedophile section over here. You, sir, you pedophile, join the section. Oh.
Such a goober.
Yeah, and instead, also, to speak a little bit about the audience, I had a guy next to me who was sleeping.
Well, for Lego Movie 2, not Secret Life of Pets.
Yeah, in Lego Movie 2, there's a guy. I only knew he was sleeping because he was snoring. I'm like, alright, this movie's not that goddamn boring, guy.
Yeah, for some reason he decided to sit on our row with his kids, 2 kids sitting right in front of him, like...
If they stole him, he probably would have just went and bought more.
I was like, I know you're just, like, wanting to nap through this, all your kids enjoy it, which is better than the dad from Fantastic Beasts just dropping his kids off.
He just loves his kids there. Hey, Megan, want to go get some new kids? Sweet, got new kids.
I've had to smack those kids.
Come with us, kiddos. We're going to teach you how to pilfer.
It's like I understand he's wanting to nap while his kids enjoy the movie, but like, could you not find 3 seats that were right together so y'all could sit together?
I don't know. We were in kind of packed house. And it was pretty. There were a lot of folks here,
including, was it 1 baby or was it 2?
This is one when you go to Alamo Draft House. Why not just hear kids? Because guess what? They kick them out when they do that. In fact, actually, I don't think they allow babies in at all. They can even say, "Oh, the baby's sleeping." Like, no. Fuck you, Lee. Mm-hmm. Guess what? Don't squeeze out your vagina. No, I don't think they say that.
I say it's a movie. It's gonna be a little loud at parts.
Mm-hmm.
It's like gonna wake the baby.
Yeah, I didn't hate this movie. There were just some parts that I was utterly bored with, and I was just like, I don't care. I have seen this message before. It's been done better in fucking Captain Planet, I'm pretty sure. It makes like, ow.
It's been ages since I've seen Captain Planet. I just remember the theme song. That's all I remember.
Well, Captain Planet, he's a hero. Gonna take pollution down to zero. I'd say, holy shit, he remembers at least 2 lines?
We're the Planeteers. You can...
Now we don't need this to get a copyright strike. I already got one copyright. I don't got a copyright strike. I'm making a bunch of that. People fight each other. But no. So what would you give this as a final score?
I'm like you. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it either. I didn't like it as much as I was thinking I was going to. Yeah, I gotta give it a 7.
Pardon me. I think I'm going to aim a little higher, and this might be a little bit more generous. I'm going to say an 8. The reason why is because when the writing is not focused on the kids for a bit, and you're just allowing some of the characters to interact with things and do some things, it's genuinely funny. Like, parents are going to laugh at this. I think it's the biggest sin about this, especially compared to Lego Batman and the Lego movie, it's kind of forgettable. I think that's its biggest problem. It's like, it's really not a Super Bowl? I'm just making up words all the time. It's not a super memorable movie. There is some parts of it that I'm like, oh yeah, that did happen. There's certain things I'm like, oh yeah, that. But there's a lot that I'm already kind of fading on.
Yeah.
There are worse ways. If you have a kid that is, decent human being and not a little shit that needs to be grabbed by their ankles and thrown out of a 30-story window, you're not going to have a bad time taking them to see this. But compared to, like I said, Lego Batman, the original Lego movie, I don't think parents are going to care for this as much. And I will say, it still looks really good. There's some interesting still Lego bits constantly happening, but it's nowhere near as good even looking, I think, as Lego movie or even Batman. I think it should have went more with, like we already kind of talked about, the storyline of, hey, don't grow up too quickly. Or more talk about, the general darkening of things. Like, it almost seemed like it was trying to poke fun at itself, like Warner Brothers, who does make this, trying to make too dark of stuff, who thankfully they seem to have turned their tone around, especially with Aquaman and what seems like Shazam and stuff like that. I mean, it seemed like it was trying to, but it always felt like it wanted to, but it just never would. It's like, pretty much. Like I said, it's a good enough movie. I don't think it's going to be on our best of by the end of the year. I don't even think it's going to end up as an honorable mention. it's nothing against the movie, and that's the bad thing. It's like I was really looking forward to it. I'm a bit disappointed in it. It's not that it's the biggest disappointment I've had in a while. It's not Pacific Rim Uprising. God, I was so pissed off at that movie. Like, I rewatched my review recently. I'm like, I did not like this movie. Like, I keep talking more and more shit, and I know, so I keep looking up. I'm like, I really didn't like this. I did not like the Sam I Am. So, since we didn't get a chance to actually talk about the movies we're going to see coming up in February, though y'all probably all knew we were going to go see this Lego Movie 2.
The second part.
We're going to talk about the movies we're going to see throughout February. Where it's going to be a little short because, of course, February is a shorter month. And we're going to talk about next week. We would like to go see... Like, I actually am almost interested to see what they're going to do with Happy Death Day 2, but we have not seen the first one. Though the trailer gives away the entirety of the first one. Thanks for that, guys, even though it is a 2-year-old movie.
Yeah, I've already looked up on Wikipedia. I was always so curious. And then shortly after I looked that up, they announced there's going to be a second one. I was like, okay, well, good thing I looked that up when I did.
But if we're going to definitely have for y'all an Alita Battle Angel. I'm interested to see if we're going to actually have a actual good anime-based film, or are we going to have Dragon Ball Evolution again? We'll see. We also are going to try and get out a review of Fighting With My Family, the movie, of course, about Paige from WWE. I always want to say WWF. Fuck you, Wildlife Foundation. But yeah, we're going to try and get a review for that. We were actually going to try and get y'all a review for What Women or What Men Want. Yeah, we were stuck in acid for a little bit longer we were thinking, so didn't have a chance to. Though we realized we were not that far from movie there. I'm like, oh, probably could have changed the tickets and went to somewhere else. Oh well. So yeah, later this week, in fact probably next week about this time, you should have 2 reviews at the very least. There is also going to be, of course, the week after that, the week of the 22nd, How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World. And thankfully this one has finally seen all that.
Caught up.
Yeah.
And yeah, the second one broke my heart. Like,
I told Megan, it's like, second one's going to grab your heart and just go, hi. It's like,
I had to kind of watch it in pieces. Charlie warned me, he's like, fair warning, you're about to come up on this one part and they'll rip your heart out. And it's like, yeah.
And the bad thing, she's like, oh, I think I'm almost done. I was like, nope, you got about 30 minutes nearly left. Meg's like, really? I'm like, yeah, you still got a lot of that movie left.
I was like right in the middle of the big battle at the end.
They're still in their battle after that, remember? But no, yeah, that's all that there is for February. Like I said, we'll try and get at least 3 more reviews. If we can squeeze a Happy Death Day to you as well, we'll try, but we both got to see the first one. I know Megan's read the Wikipedia, but still, you want to watch it to see, well, how terrible is this main actress? Is the acting alright in it? Does Rami Malek make me want to punch him in the face as bad as I do from Bohemian Rhapsody? Who knows? I don't know if it is actually Rami Malek.
I don't think so.
It's somebody who looks exactly like him, and I get them both fucking confused. I'm like, they look exactly the damn same.
Racist.
I can't help it. I get him, and there's one other guy, I can't remember who it is. I get them also confused. I don't know. Oh well. But yeah, Lego Movie 2, the second part. Even though I'm giving it an 8 and it seems a little high for it's just, like I said, there's some really good parts, but it's bogged down by so much lost potential. It's not even missing potential. It's there, just it decided to go off and go in a different direction. It's like, so, hey, we'll be back soon. Probably with, before anything, a Fighting With My Family review, or maybe something else as well. We'll see. But hey, we'll talk with y'all later, so bye-bye.
Bye-bye.